So if you've got police promotion board ahead of you, it's highly likely you're going to get asked a question like this on your board, either as a presentation or as a promotion board question. And it's quite a good one. What's performance management? And how will you as a leader deliver a performance management framework that's effective? So this is a presentation that one of our Promotion Academy candidates has got to deliver in a few weeks' time. And today I was working with them to help them improve their presentation. So it does two things. The first thing, it has the board, the promotion board, on the edge of their seats thinking, this is so different, this is remarkable. And the second thing it leads to is them thinking, I'd be an idiot if I failed this person. We want to be memorable at the board, not blend into the greyness of all the other candidates. We want to stand out, but stand out for all the right reasons. So for those of you who haven't watched one of these videos before, my name's Brendan from Bluelight. Bluelight is where we help people, where I've helped people for the past 30 years actually, help people to succeed in their promotion boards, specialist interviews, police recruitment process. So we help people to plan, prepare and practice for their big day so they can actually perform and smash it out the park. So this video will probably be in two parts. Actually, it will be in two parts. I'll get so far. And if you want to watch the second part, where I talk about a lot of the how, then check the links below, because the second part will only be available to members of the Bluelight Police Recruitment and Career Development Facebook group. There's over 25,000 members of that group now. It's growing at an awesome rate. And if you're not part of that group, you need to be. So the second video will be available in there. It's a bit of a bribe really, isn't it? It's like an ethical bribe. Come and join the group and you will get the second video. So in the first one, I'm going to talk about what this individual was proposing to do and why it was such a bad idea. And then we're going to move into a little bit more about what they should have done instead. And then, like I said, in the second video, we'll talk about how they should have done it. By the way, the group's free. You got nothing to lose. Ask to join the group. Link below in the blurb. And there you go. So many resources in there. So, right, the first thing they did, which I thought was a bit of a mistake, was they just came up with a sort of what looked like a textbook definition of performance management. And quite frankly, I was just bored looking at the slide. It had something like well over 100 words on it, and it just didn't stand out at all. And all that would happen is the individual would have just read off that slide, and it would have been boring. And none of the board would have remembered it. It would have blended into the background of all the other candidates. And then they started talking about, in the next slides, performance in line with the strategic plans. And quite frankly, it was just a lot of cliches and buzzwords and a big shopping list. Talking about outcomes, clarity of role, transparency, accountability, capacity, capability, all the things that are actually available in the documents that are available freely, publicly. When you look at this particular force and its performance framework, it's all there. Around 999 calls, different crime types, behavior, complaints, how complaints are being managed, surveys, antisocial behavior, confidence, victim contact, stop and search. There's just a huge matrix of performance that's being measured, because it's not that they're easy to measure these things, but they are measurable. They're measurable. So it just became a big shopping list, quite frankly. And again, nothing that would be memorable. So we want to steer away from that, because you're just going to sound like everyone else. I can pretty much guarantee that everyone else, or nearly everyone else, is going to come up with the same sort of shopping lists. And it's not telling the board anything about what sort of leader you're going to be. Remember, people want to invest in other people. The board wants to invest in you as a person. They don't want to hear how you're going to just like roll out policy, roll out procedure. So this is where we also looked at how the performance framework that's being delivered by this particular force, well, there's going to be no negotiables around it. This is our performance framework. This is how we measure performance. This is how, as a leader, you will help us deliver on that performance. And it's just the sort of standard charts with percentages in and red, amber, greens. And listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You know, metrics are really important. But the other thing about this force, I'm not going to say which force it was they've had appeal inspection, and they're also very self-aware about the issues that they have that are hard to measure. And that's where we thought we'd go in terms of our presentation, in terms of our forward-facing question, because that really is just a forward-facing question. You know, if you're thinking, oh no, I've got a 10-minute presentation to do, it's not really a 10-minute presentation. It's a forward-facing question. How in the future will you deliver a performance management framework as a leader within the police? That's just a 10-minute long forward-facing answer. So if you think of it like that, suddenly it's a little less stressful and having to deliver this presentation. The other thing about the presentation, by the way, is it would have taken him about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to deliver it. There was far too much information there, far too much stuff on the slides, far too many slides, and it just would have taken far too long. So look, simplicity is everything. Keep things really simple. We even talked about using pictures, you know, photographs of stuff, or just, you know, one line, 2 lines maybe, or maybe 3 lines at the very most on each one of the slides, and no more than 3 slides. No more than three slides. And so the areas that we looked at covering is, first of all, look, this is how we'd do the 3 slides. The first thing we'd cover is, what is performance management? Get through that really quickly, just roll out a definition, and then go straight into why it's so important. Why is it so important? And the 3 areas that we looked at were the 3 areas that this particular Chief Constable and Chief Officer team are probably worrying about on a daily basis. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook into the actual pain that the senior leaders are feeling, the pain that the force is going through. And in this particular force, it's around diversity, equality, and inclusion, which leads to, or a lack of inclusion is leading to officers leaving and the force not even knowing why they're leaving. Behaviour. You know, we can have performance frameworks around number of complaints and how they're managed, but what we're trying to do is to identify the behaviour that we want from officers, not the behaviour we don't want. We want the behaviour we want from officers, especially when they come across situations where they've got to challenge another officer's behaviour. How do we measure that? How do we put that into a performance framework? And the third area we looked at is collaboration. So how are we collaborating with other organisations in order to deliver really effective outcomes for members of the communities that we're a part of? These are hard to measure. These issues, these 3 issues, diversity, equality and inclusion, especially inclusion, behaviour of officers behaviour, and our ability to collaborate with other agencies and members of the community and community groups, these are all really hard to measure, which is why often they're not in performance management frameworks. So performance management frameworks invariably have the things in there that are easy to measure. Like I said before, I'm not saying it's bad that we've got those things. I love metrics. I do. It gives me an idea as to where we are going as a team, and is it in line broadly or definitely with the force's strategic vision. I think that's really important as a leader to be able to translate that. But what we thought would be really interesting in the board and would really raise an eyebrow in a very positive way is if we can take a look at those issues that exist within the force that are hard, almost impossible to measure. How do you wrap a performance framework around the hard to measure? And so what I'm going to do in my second video is I'm going to talk to you about some ideas that we had about how you would do that. How would I do that as an inspector in the future with a team of sergeants and constables to deliver effectively on the things that are really hard to measure? All right, now if that sounds interesting and you are not a member of the Bluelight Facebook group, then check the links below. Check the links below, ask to join the group. You're joining over 25,000 individuals who are already accessing a huge amount of resources, both free and otherwise. Of course, we have paid resources. We have one-to-ones, we have small group webinars, we have academy programs where we actually guarantee the results for the people we accept into it. For promotion boards, the recruitment process, specialist interviews, we have all of those services, but you don't have to join that. For a lot of people, the free resources in the group are enough. There's weekly webinars you can access. There's all sorts of explainer videos, templates, guidance, so much material in there from people who've been doing this now for decades. It's not just me, it's the rest of my team. We've been doing this now for decades. I've got 30 years of experience of coaching in the police sector. I've been in the police sector now I joined in 1985. What's that like? 39 years now at the making of this video. I'll be 40 soon. So I've been doing this for a long time. And hopefully you'll get a feel for what we do and how we do it inside that group. Anyway, you'll be very welcome to join. Do come and join us. Check the links below. And in there, you will find the second video. And if you can't find it for any reason, just reach out, ask me, and I will ensure that you're guided towards it. So you can find out how you would actually deliver the performance framework that measures the hard to measure in a board. I'll catch up with you soon. I'll catch you in the next one, actually. Bye-bye for now.